Shalom. Once again, this is your brother Tazar Yah Amar of GMS Valdosta, Georgia, coming out with another weekly lesson. And I pray that it be edifying. But first of all, I want to give all praises and honor to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rikakadash. Double honors to our pastors and elders of GMS for teaching us the true knowledge of these scriptures. I want to say shalom and a to all the Akwan and Akwas that's thriving thriving in this same true doctrine. Shalom. Today's lesson is based upon I must admit, stupidity on my part. Had a discourse with a lady pastor today, and things didn't turn out too well for me in that situation. And the reason it didn't turn out too well is because I should have been more circumspect about the way that I confronted that situation. But hey, I had the zeal, but lack of knowledge. And I must admit that, hey, I handled it, I didn't handle the situation right. But anyway, my first scripture is going to be Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, chapter 6, starting at verse 33. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Countless times, the young brothers that I camp with, my camp leader, and the other brothers, they to just be straightforward. They don't. This ain't the first time that they reprimanded me for being overzealous. Just not using wisdom, and that being hot headed. That's worldly. It's you can't bring the world into this truth. You can't bring old luggage on a new trip. For instance, if you live in Hawaii, the luggage that you take to Alaska got to be totally different, and vice versa. You know, you can't take old luggage on a new trip. You can't bring the world into this truth. Worldly, you know, attitude. You can't bring your worldly attitude into this truth. You got to let it go. That going back and forth that I did today, well, it was uncalled for. With that, I'm gonna continue to read the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6, verse 34. Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. These young brothers that I count with, hey, these are very wise young men. They the information and the knowledge that they share with me, hey, it's indisputable. Hey, these guys, hey, man, look, they fired up with the spirit, and they ain't gonna tell me nothing wrong. But like I say, me being the hothead, sometimes, hey, I guess I'm ill-tempered sometimes. You know, and as I said earlier, You can't bring your worldly attitude into this truth. The book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, chapter 6, verse 35. Be willing to hear godly discourse. You know, the way that I handled it wasn't godly. You know, it was more of a carnal situation, you know, the back and forth that I was, going back and forth. You know, I should have just quoted scripture, you know, First Corinthians, you know, First Corinthians 12:2, if I'm not mistaken, and First Corinthians 14:34. First Timothy, um, Salaki. Gotta look it up again. First Timothy 2:11 and First Corinthians 14:34. And let that be the end of it. Instead of going back and forth. And what that caused was her to get in the ear of two simpletons, two Jakes. And then the next thing I know, these two Jakes were coming against me in the scriptures. You know, she done called out two more demons. And they was ready to go hands on. The minute, whatever she said to them, they was ready to go hands on. You know, I reckon they had that effeminate spirit on them. And hey, it manifested itself. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 37. Salaki. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. You know, basically what that means is, look, if you got someone that you can go to and get, information, get knowledge from, hey, pretty much wear out your welcome, you know, in a sense. Not to the point where you're annoying, but hey, a lot of times, if you seeking knowledge and you seeking it from the right person, they don't mind sharing it with you. They're more than gladly to share it with you. Especially if it's concerning this truth, the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, and with that, I'm going to move to the book of Colossians. The book of Colossians, chapter 4, starting at verse 5. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. You know, if someone have they have the will to learn, share that with them, They sincere about, the knowledge of these scriptures. Hey, by all means, share the light with them. Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace. That's where I failed, number one. Seasoned with salt. The salt was the scripture, but they didn't want to hear that. That you may know how ye ought to answer every man. And once I brought out the scriptures, I should have let it be. Hey, let the words of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Avashai, take its course. Instead of me going back and forth, lip battling with a female at that, that was, that was out of order. Going back and forth with a loud and clamorous woman that had no understanding, didn't want no understanding. And with that, I'm going to move to the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, chapter 15, starting at verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. As I said earlier, I might have came out a little harsh, and I was turning it up pretty much. I was turning up because I know in my heart that my mind that hey, what the scriptures say. But she disregarded that, and if she called herself a so-called pastor, I'm sure she had read it. That the Most High suffered not a woman to teach, nor exert authority over a man. I'm sure she read that. But she's defiant, rebellious. And that's what really sort of, unwind my clock, so to speak. Old folks saying, inside joke. Solomon. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 2. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools pour out foolishness. Once I started going back and forth with her, that was foolishness. When I brought out the scripture, I should have closed the book, as Yahweh did in the book of Isaiah. When he read the scripture, he closed the book. I should have just closed the book. But no, I kept going back and forth with her. Like an unruly heathen. Because I became carnal instead of just staying in the scriptures. I became carnal. Salaki. All praise to Yahweh Bashem, Abishai Bashem, Kakadash. And with that, I'm going to move to the book of Revelation. Chapter 22, verse 11. Revelation chapter 22, verse 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. As I said earlier, I'm sure she had read the scripture that said, hey, which I quoted earlier, God suffered not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over a man. I'm sure she read that. So I shouldn't have never got carnal with her. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. I should have just let it be. And he which is filthy, she knew she was filthy. Matter of fact, she had on pants at that particular time. Let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. I should have never got character. Should have kept everything spiritual. Because that's what the devil wants. The devil wants you to refer to carnality. Once you refer to carnality, hey, then he can take control. But as long as you keep it spiritual, hey, the devil got the hands off. And we got to always remember that. Keep it spiritual. And with that, I'm going to close out by saying all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Yakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS for teaching us the true knowledge of these scriptures. I want to say shalom and a hug to all the Ark One and Ark Wall that's striving and thriving in this same true doctrine. Shalom, shalom.